What's up, guys? It's RGT, and Luigi's Mansion just released on the Nintendo Switch 2 Online GameCube app. It actually released last night on the 29th, depending on when you're watching this video, of October, and I fired the game up, and I just instantly started just playing it a bunch, and I've been playing it a bunch today, and I just kind of wanted to make a video rambling, not only just about this game in particular, but something from this generation of gaming that I feel is completely lost on a lot of people. And that has to do with the visual style of Luigi's Mansion for the Nintendo GameCube. Now, this game, it came out a long time ago, pal. But I think when you upscale certain games for certain platforms, they just look so much better than other games on other platforms. And this is definitely a game that has that charm and has that visual style that I think still looks great. There's lots of little tricks that were done, such as this mirror reflection trick, and supposedly it's just the game like doubling itself up in order to give this illusion of an accurate mirror reflection. But I can't tell you how many games I play in like the modern era that do not have any sort of mirror reflections. Like they just get rid of the mirrors, or they dumb down the mirrors or stuff like that. And I'm just sitting here playing this game that looks to be about 2 times upscaled, and it's striking to me, like, just how good it looks overall. Like, yeah, there's still some low resolution textures and stuff. Like, okay, if you do this, like, oh wow, that wall doesn't look great. I'm just talking about the overall visual style, and really, for one of the things that it comes down to for me is like the color palette. Because you got to remember, when this game came out, we were starting to move into the essentially piss filter era of video games, in which everything had like a weird, like yellow, or like a light brown sort of filter over it. And at the time, we all liked it. We thought, oh, this is cool. This looks gritty. This looks unique. But in actuality, get away from me. It wasn't good. It didn't age very well. But there are 2 systems in particular that I think, when you take them and you upscale the visuals, I think they stand out like much more than other systems from that time frame, and much more than a lot of systems in general. And I think they both share one thing in common. Like I said, I'm just going to be rambling about stuff as I go around here. The GameCube, especially first-party GameCube titles, but the GameCube and the Dreamcast, I feel, just look phenomenal when you upscale them. And like, yeah, the PS2, the original Xbox, those do look great, don't get me wrong. But I think GameCube and Dreamcast stick out like much more. And you kind of get to wondering, well, oh yeah, that's not where I'm supposed to go. You kind of get to wondering, like, well, why is that? What is it about those 2 systems? Is there some common denominator between those 2 systems that make them just kind of stand out when you upscale them? And I think there is. I really think there is a sort of common denominator, and I think a lot of it comes down to the color palette of both of those games. Or I should say both of those systems. The Dreamcast and the GameCube used a lot of really bright, interesting colors. And I feel like, oh, I don't have any fire. Oh, I can get some here. I feel like, a lot of games from that time frame started going down more towards the, towards that essential piss filter, that darker, grittier style. And it works for some games. It genuinely works for some games, but I don't think it works for all games. And as you're playing this game, that obviously has a brighter visual art style, uses a lot of different sort of tricks as far as lighting and whatnot is concerned. The lighting from the storm outside of the mansion to the ghosts and stuff like that. Like, I think this game does a lot of different things to make the visual style really stand out, probably more so than many people like realize. And I think the only way you kind of get that sense and that feeling. Did I not grab that? Come on, dude. The only way you kind of get that sense and feeling, there we go, is when you actually play it. Like, oh, you've got to be joking me. This game, like, still, like, look at that, dude. Like the little lightning reflections. Like, yeah, okay, it's not perfect, but I don't know. I just, as I'm playing this game, I'm just loving how it looks upscaled. And I think it's something that, you know, it depends on the system. It depends on the game that you're playing. It depends on, oh, wait, why are you here? I thought I already did this part. Okay, well, we'll do it again. This is actually this boss battle in the graveyard. I didn't have enough health, and then I died. And I'm pretty much going in with the same amount of health again, so yeah, I don't know. It's probably not the best idea. But I just think this game and games, you know, you could say the same thing for like Super Mario Sunshine. You can say the same thing, even though it's not a great game. You son of a bitch. Get off me, dude. You could say the same thing for like Star Fox Adventures. Like, I can't wait for that game to come because I think that's going to be, you know, yet another visual treat. But a lot of those games from that era had that art style. They had that unique color palette and stuff like that, to where I think the games just, they're timeless if you upscale them. Like, this to me looks really good. And it almost makes me want like a full-on remake of this game, like not just like the stupid 3DS thing or whatever. I want like a full-on remake. But then it's kind of like, well, would it lose some of the charm? Would it lose some of the charm of the original game because like this art style? And I mean, really, if you look at Luigi's Mansion games, they've definitely kept this art style pretty much the entire time. But I feel like, I don't know, there's just something about this specific art style and stuff like, you know, the Dreamcast and stuff like that from this era that I feel like just holds up so well with just a little bit of upscaling. Just a little bit of upscaling. You could say the controls are a little wonky, and I mean, you know, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you. Like, at least allow me to like change the speed of the C stick or something like that, which is now I'm using a Switch 2 controller, so the second analog stick. Like, let me adjust that. But I just wanted to talk about this game for a few minutes and talk about like art style and, you know, what makes certain games just look phenomenal even when, you know, they're old. And, you know, there's games that obviously have all these sorts of crazy technical features and stuff like that, but it just goes to show you like how important a really good art style is. Oh my God almighty. And in determining, you know, how legendary a game is, or how timeless a game is, because I think part of the reason why this game still looks so great is that art style. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, though. Do you kind of see the Dreamcast and the GameCube as like those two sort of systems that just, you know, there's something about the way the games look that really allow it to be upscaled and then just look like so much better? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this random video that I just felt like making. I'm going to try and beat this boss now. I should probably focus since he did defeat me last time. It was really BS too. All right, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.